Hi, my name is Frank Kern. I've been selling things online since 1999. Since then, I've sold over $50 million of my own intellectual property and advice, mostly to business owners who want to scale their business. In the first 5 minutes of this video, you'll discover how to know if the gurus are right before you buy any of their stuff. You'll also learn how to know what ads are printing money in any industry. You'll also discover 3 common sense steps to crush any competitor, and you will quickly see exactly why we have the biggest unfair advantage in the history of business. And that's literally all just in the first 5 minutes of this video. In the next 5 minutes, you'll discover how to completely take over an entire marketplace by creating something called a psychological echo chamber. Plus, you'll see how one guy makes $20 million a year from people who pay him to send them emails about farming. We're joined today by my daughter, Nora Kern, who will be interviewing me. This entire video was shot on an iPhone, and we don't know how to edit videos very well, but this one's a banger. Let's get into it.
There's so much opportunity because we live in a culture where nobody leaves the house without their telephone. When your grandfather was being cremated, I didn't go because I had to be on stage, and I could hear his voice in my head going, "It ain't gonna make me any less dead."
Or what would you say to someone who wants to create content and get started, but is scared of what people think or scared of just putting themselves out there?
Oh, you're already getting judged. Do the shit.
Say that you just started out and you've been making videos for a year and reaching out to people and businesses for a year, and you still feel like you're not really having much success. What would you do?
What's happening, y'all? Frank Kern here, joined with my daughter, Nora, and all of this is being shot on iPhone.
I figured I would just ask you some questions kind of from a younger person's perspective.
All right. What do you want, you kids, with your TikToks?
Nowadays, I don't know if you feel like you see this, but my age group, I feel like there's a lot of people wanting to do the get rich quick type of internet marketing. How do you validate if it's something worth pursuing or something a little scammy?
Common sense. Say something, say, all right, about this notebook on demand. You can buy my shit, and you can then go out and become a notebook dealer. You can just go and look and see what the market's like for notebooks and stuff, and do a little bit of research and see if that makes sense. Or you could just go and call 100 people randomly and be like, "Hi, it's Frank Kern. This is really random, but I live here in San Diego. I'm considering buying this business about notebooks, and I'm calling random people to see, do you buy notebooks?" And that would take like 4 days. It would suck because people would be dicks to you, but you would know.
Yeah, you get your answer real fast.
And it's like, I just take the 4 days.
Yeah, it's way better. Just suffer for a little bit of
Yeah.
victory. If you were just getting started, do you think selling a service or creating a product would be best?
Or a digital product, I'm thinking like a course. So it's way easier to validate that. Go to like Facebook ads library and type in like Kung Fu course, and you'll find all these ads, assuming that it's being sold. And then you could do a filter and be like, all right, show me ads that are running about Kung Fu classes or whatever, making that up.
Yeah.
They're running today, and they've been running since like a year or whatever. It'll show you. And if you see a lot of stuff that's been running for a long time, it's a pretty good indicator that it works. You will literally just Google Facebook ads library, go type in whatever the thing is, and you can see, and the longer the company's been running ads, and especially if it's one ad that's been running for a long time, you're like, okay. And then you go look at the offer, and you look at the site and the copy, and you're like, well, this clearly works, and here's what people are buying, so if I can deliver a better version of this and do a better job of marketing it, give the customer a better experience, what we got right there is good old-fashioned competition in a capitalist environment, and that's what yields good products, at the end of the day.
That's awesome. So I'm in college, and a lot of my other peers in college.
Is that what you people are doing?
Yeah, that's what we do. I hear all the time my peers talking about how a lot of people aren't able to get jobs with their degrees, and especially my peers who just graduated. They've noticed like, wow, I spent so much time working for this, and the job options that I had are not nearly what I thought they were going to be. And I think a lot of people hear that who are still enrolled in college and they think, shoot, I'm really interested in marketing. I'm really interested in starting my own business and being an entrepreneur, but I'm scared. You know, the stigma of not being in college is like, it's still present. It's not as bad as it was back in the day, but it's still a little bit there. So what would you say to somebody in that position?
I say you're right to be scared. It's extremely difficult, and the failure rate is very, very high, but it's worth it. The opportunities are huge for like everybody. So the playing field's leveled. It's easy to look and be like, oh man, it's so scary. But on the other hand, it's like, and there's so much opportunity because we live in a culture where nobody, like generally speaking, nobody leaves the house without their telephone.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that celebrates consumerism. And it's even okay to spend beyond your means.
Yeah.
In our culture. It's like, oh, yay, you know, you did it for you. You go. And like, okay, great. And we live in a culture where if someone wants to buy something, they can take the phone out of pocket, press a button and buy it. And we can get in front of those people and sell them stuff for free or for very little money, like, you know, relatively speaking, in terms of spending money on ads. So it's like, I can't imagine it getting any better than this. And every time I say that, I'm wrong. So I love saying it because it gets better every time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you feel like as time has gone on that the opportunity has just grown and grown and grown?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And do you think AI has opened that opportunity even bigger than it was previously?
Yes, and I think there's going to be an even bigger opportunity because of AI, which will be real people. So like, we're going to make all this content with AI, which is awesome, and everyone's going to be like, oh, this is so neat. And then you're not going to have any actual humans, and so when people see like real people, that's going to be a huge deal, which just provides even more opportunity. So it's, I think it just continually compounds, if that's even a real concept of compounding opportunity. I remember thinking, I'm never going to be able to tell my kids how hard it was and how much better they have it, because there's no possible way it's going to be getting better. And they're always like, oh my God, it's even better. You know, it's like, so it just gets better all the time. And so anyone who's worried about, I don't know, college and stuff like that, do whatever you feel like is right, but you're going to be okay. Either way, if you learn how to write words that get people to do things, and you use that ability for good, and you don't write hateful things, and you don't use it to turn your neighbors against one another or something. You're never going to go hungry ever. Like, personally, I think that's the single most valuable skill on the planet, aside from like, you know, curing disease, and solving famine and shit like that.
Besides from those, what would you say to someone who's scared of AI?
It doesn't matter if you're scared. It's not going to make a difference. It's what I imagine my father would say to me when your grandfather was being cremated. I didn't go because I had to be on stage, and if I went, I had to refund everybody. Well, I wouldn't have had to refund everybody, but the promoters would have had to refund everybody. It would mess them up, and I could hear his voice in my head going, "It ain't gonna make me any less dead," you know. And so to those people, I'd be like, you being scared of it ain't gonna make any difference. You know, it's not gonna make it any less there. Just don't worry about it. And what's funny is still nobody knows what the hell they're doing with it. So, you know, the population of the Earth that even has used it is tiny, and then within that subsegment of the population that has actually used it, that knows how to use it, is even smaller. We keep seeing the same stuff, and we think the whole world is like that, you know. So if someone's out there clicking on, if someone's thinking about becoming a yoga instructor, you know, and then they're clicking on stuff about yoga or whatever, they might have it in their mind that the entire world is doing nothing but yoga instructors, and they're everywhere. But in reality, that's not what's happening at all. We create by our behavior, or we don't do it, algorithms do for us, but we get in these echo chambers. But I think it's better to be the person that makes the echo chamber than the one that gets stuck in the echo chamber. Being able to create content that influences people and all of that. So if you can create the echo chamber that people voluntarily get in and like, you're done.
Yeah.
Especially if you have something to sell them and it's a good thing and it helps them and they enjoy it. And then, God forbid, they buy something else. And now you've got what's called a self-sustaining business. And that's pretty good. And I can't imagine it getting any less hard to do. Like, it used to really be really hard.
Or what would you say to someone who wants to create content and get started, but is scared of what people think or scared of just putting themselves out there?
Oh, you're already getting judged.
Yeah.
All the things you're afraid of are probably going to happen.
Human.
You're going to look stupid. Someone's going to say something shitty. But the thing is, they're already saying that.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Because we're all judging each other all the time.
Yeah.
So the thing I'd like to say is people are going to judge us anyway. We might as well get paid for it. And the first bit of content, no one's going to see it. And it's probably not going to be any good. And it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, all of it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Just make more, and then it'll pick up. And just keep getting better at it, and then it'll take traction. And it doesn't take a lot of people giving you money to actually have a sustainable lifestyle. That's one thing about the social media game. It's all how the flash and the jets and the sports cars and stuff. You really don't need all that stuff. You've seen we did. It never made me any happier. Having the Rolls Royces, it was okay, I'm still me.
Yeah, I was in a garage half of the time.
I didn't get cool at all. I didn't become British.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Didn't get a cape.
Yeah.
Totally didn't work. So it's harder than it looks, but it's not as hard as we think it is. Right? So on the surface, it looks like, okay, so you're saying I make a bunch of videos, put them on the internet, sell stuff, and I'll get money. BS. But it's harder than that. It just takes longer. And there's a lot of moving pieces, and you'll go through a lot of experiments that don't work, probably. Some people hit out of the car for every key for them. But none of this is hard as we make it out in our mind.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking talking.
Yeah.
And typing. And it's really, motherfucker? Don't talk to be customers, and they're oh my God, this has been such a hard week, I'm exhausted. I'm you take to talk and type for what? Yeah. Hours long?
Oh my gosh.
It's fuck you. Roof a house for a couple of months. It's none of this stuff we're doing is hard.
Yeah, it's just strictly the mental game.
Yeah, and it always is. And it's, that's probably the biggest thing, really, is getting in our own way and letting that what if. So I always just assume it's going to be horrible. Mm-hmm. I'm well, this is probably going to be terrible. I'm going to do it anyway, and just hopefully it'll be less terrible than I think. And then whenever anything works, I'm to this day amazed.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So
yeah,
still worry about it, or do worry about it, but do it anyway. Mm-hmm. That's really the main. Think whatever you want to think, but just do the shit. It appears like everybody's online doing stuff, but it's not. We're in echo chambers, and it's a tiny fragment of the population is actually producing anything. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else is just consuming.
Yeah.
So if you just make that shift to become a producer and keep producing stuff and have some intention, okay, I'm producing this with the intent to help these people so they will trust me, I will help them to the point where they will give me money in exchange for this or anything. You even be producing stuff with the intention of gaining such trust and loyalty among the people that consume your content. It doesn't matter what you're promoting, they'll buy it because they have so much trust and confidence in you. But as long as you just keep doing that, and not you specifically, but anybody like me included, if someone just does that all the time, it's almost impossible to fuck it up. Mm-hmm. And what happens is we don't see it as the producers. Mm-hmm. But what will happen is a consumer, let's say you've been making stuff for 5 years, By year 5, you're probably doing okay. Yeah. But you've been making stuff for 5 years, and a new person finds you. When we discover a brand, usually it goes from discovering the brand and to making a purchase. I've forgotten the statistic, and the statistic's probably different now than it was back when I saw it. But it's something like 32 touch points or something, where the consumer has to see the brand 32 times before they finally make a purchase. Mm-hmm. If you've been making stuff for 5 years, and you got 5 years worth of stuff, and somebody finds you, and we have a group of 100 people that found you today, there's going to be a percentage of that group that binges everything, and they bond with that brand immediately, and they make the purchase, and they buy everything. And that will never happen unless there's that volume of stuff out there for them to binge and consume. So if someone does that consciously, it's like, as long as you're putting out stuff that's helpful to people, dude, it will pay off a lot. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And you'll find your rhythm, and it can be written content. I worried about a dude the other day. I forgot this guy's name. Dude, whoever you are, I'm sorry for getting your name. He makes $20 million a year with a newsletter for farmers about agriculture. And it's an email newsletter.
Wait, it's a 20 million?
20 million.
Oh my goodness.
Writing emails to people who are paying for this dude to send them emails with information about the global agricultural market. And it's not even expensive. I went to the site, but it's like, holy fuck. So, you could like, people buy that even. And I'm not insinuating that's a bad thing. But like, even going down that rabbit hole, the opportunity's so big. I like went on a little tangent the other day, just researching stuff. And they are newsletters, email newsletters, and they're doing millions of dollars in revenue, where the thing you're buying is you're just receiving email about a certain topic from a person every day. But if you look at the context of all these humans on the world, very few people are actually doing anything. So the whole deal is almost all consumers. The producer to consumer ratio is so skewed. It's wonderful. So the producers are like, they're killing it because no one's really producing very much. So you're going to make the decision, all right, I'm going to produce content or whatever, and sell some stuff. Or just endorse some things and build an audience and endorse things and get paid that way. It's all of that is very doable. It's just consistency and commitment.
I think a lot of people are starting to realize that lately, because I have seen there's a big push of people creating smaller brands, or not necessarily smaller brands, just like startups of things that already exist, but they're trying to make a better version, but just getting started, obviously. Or just the big push of people trying to be influencers and YouTubers. And I think sometimes seeing so many people do that and seeing this saturation, seemingly, because it could once again just be like an echo chamber. But seeing all these people hop on the new wave and the new idea to do internet stuff, do you think that that should be intimidating, or do you think that that should be inspiring?
Oh, it's nothing but good news. Yeah, because it means there's money there. So like everybody's opening up a frozen yogurt store or something. It's like, barring some sort of unseen idiocy, there's a big ass frozen yogurt market, so it's like, that's another thing in product creation. It's like the more competition in the marketplace, the better. And all competitors do is they educate your market about the value of the solution itself, not necessarily your product, but the value of the end result that your product can deliver. So if like I was selling notebooks and I'm a competitor of, I can't read it, Kern, I think is the name of this notebook, and the Kern was running nonstop ads about how journaling every day will help your life. All they're doing is helping me. Because the people that see those ads are like, well, we know that journaling is good. Should we buy a Luke term, or what's this dude's kook term? Or something. It's the worst name ever. But that's really what happens. But we get all caught up. Like, oh, there's too many people and they stole my idea or whatever. It's like, there's so much abundance in the world. It's like ridiculous, and there are very few people that actually go out and get it. So it's like, well, just go get it, and it'll be hard at first, and it's never just laid out easy, but the alternative is terrible.
Say that you just started out and you've been making videos for a year and reaching out to people and businesses for a year, and you still feel like you're not really having much success. What would you do to stay inspired, or what would you do to find the area that you need to improve?
Oh, and even the numbers. These are the answers people don't like, but these are the answers that make you rich. So it's like, okay, how many videos am I making? How many people have I reached out to? How many of them have I had conversations with? How many of those people became customers? And if the answer is I reached out to 1,000 people and I had conversations with 10, and 9 of them became customers, I'd be like, damn, I'm real good at turning people into customers. I just need to reach out to more people. Because the reach outs are what generate the conversations, or I need to find another conversation creating machine. So if you can understand that all business, it doesn't matter what the type of business is, it's a machine that's made of parts. It's a customer attraction machine, then the sales process where there's appointment getting, and then you talk to the person or they go to a web page or whatever, and then there's the ads and stuff. It's very rarely the whole business is broken. It's usually one part of the machine is like messed up, and then you just fix that one part. But it's very, very easy for us to be like, well, everything, it doesn't work. And I saw this person on TikTok talking about becoming, I don't know.
Something better.
Yeah, I mean, hopeless, making money by being a test subject for clinical trials, for pharmaceutical hallucinogenics. It's not a whole machine. It's usually a thing. And we get so busy because we're in the woods, so to speak. We can't see the forest or the trees. So if I was that person, I would just look at the math. And a lot of times we think we're doing stuff, but we're not. It's like I made the videos. It's like, well, all right, how long did it take you to make the video? An hour. What about the rest of the 7 hours? Well, I was looking at other stuff. Okay, well, like, reach out to people. So it's typically you're missing the math or the self-discipline. Only reason I do this is because I'm guilty of it. So that's all I know. It's like, because I'm doing it a lot. It's always my fault. And it's usually one little thing's off. The hell's wrong with this damn thing?
Get to the
it's the conversion rate in the order form. There it is, or whatever. It'll be a thing, and then you fixed it.
That's very important.
It is. Thank God very few people do it because they pay me a lot of money to figure it out. You
tend to notice that that's what you're figuring out most of the time for people.
Every time. Yeah, it is either it's a situation where stuff worked really, really well and they stop doing it, and we just have to go back and find out what that thing was and then do it again. Or you find the constraint. You find the bottleneck. And it's usually a thing, but finding the little things, a motherfucker, and fixing it is usually not that hard. Usually. So, sometimes it could be, hold on, new copy has to be done or something. But oftentimes it's like, flip that switch on and make these people go through this thing and then it'll work. We're with this core dealership, not. Let's just say. And the majority of their best customers are truck buyers. And they have a system set up to identify the truck buyers. They put their best salespeople on the truck buyers. And they want to get more people buying and stuff. And it turns out that the system that identified truck buyers wasn't identifying the truck buyers. So most of the truck buyers were being sent to the car salespeople and not the truck salespeople. That was it.
That makes a huge difference.
But it took a month. Well, that's big companies. So when you have big companies, it takes forever to get any information because you got to go through 9,000 departments and we're kicking the ball to the other guy. But once we figured it out, it was like, oh, well, here's what's going on.
For someone in my generation who likes marketing, what do you think one of the biggest opportunities would be?
Get good at it and then teach it to people that are in your generation because they're not getting taught. One, unless they're watching people like me, and they're probably like, well, this guy's 1,000 years old, so we're going to discount 90% of what he's got to say, which is normal. So there's a giant group of people that are likely underserved by someone that's within their own demographic, and no one has planted the flag there. And said, okay, I am the person to go to about this particular subject matter for this particular group of people. And if you're good at it, and by the way, being good at it is just significantly better than them. You know, like you don't have to be amazing at it. Just don't hurt them and give them bad advice or anything.
Yeah.
But if you give them like actual usable stuff that they can get immediate results from, you can end up with a situation where you'll have someone that's a customer today and they are a customer of yours for 30 years if you stayed in the same game. So like every person in your generation, they're all to do that at once. You know, it would be an oversaturated thing. But of course nobody would. Human nature and the 80-20 rule and all of that. But becoming a figure in a market within a generation of anything, it could be gardening, it could be, you know, quilting, literally, that's what I'm working specifically. I don't see many people that are in their early 20s that especially are female, that are talking about marketing stuff that aren't doing anything other than just regurgitating what other people are saying and trying to be exactly like the guy with the car and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if someone were to come along that was like real and authentic and maybe their shit, I think they would just absolutely crush it.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
there's that. I'm not trying to steer you towards the family business or anything. Which you people would insinuate we're at. Yeah. But when you do it, presupposition.
Hypothetically, when I do start doing that, I think you'll do well.
Yeah, like, well, I think you'll be great at it. Well, we come to this decision together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, you really sold me on that.
Yeah, so guys, check out my YouTube. It's serious and dumb. I do think, like, what you said, it's a huge opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
as something, you know, talking about marketing and trying to help my generation with it specifically, like, I think anyone could do it, obviously, but personally, that is something I am very interested in doing.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
because,
right. You know a little bit about it.
Yeah, and to genuinely help, too, I think, regardless of, like, I don't know, just seeing people's businesses flourish after doing tiny things to help them is always very rewarding.
Well, if you think it on a, like, if you dork out on it like crazy, you're like, well, if I did this and I helped like 1 million businesses increase by this much money, what effect would that have on like the national economy or on a global scale? And like it really can, you know, I mean, there's a lot of work to do, but it's like people in the business of helping businesses could, if we do a good job and if we, you know, live up to all of our big mouth promises, we kind of can actually be a pretty good use to the world, you know. So it's a good business to be in, and not very many people are good at it. So it's not hard to win, long term especially. Speaking of long term, thank y'all for watching our long video. And our first name or articles or anything. No lights are on in here. Everything is shot with an iPhone today.
Yeah.
No mics. So if this comes out good, it'll be amazing.
Yeah, that will be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it'll be great endorsement for Apple Streets.
Yeah, it's great then because then it shows like you could literally take the phone that you're watching this on and go film a video, and that could be the first thing that gets the ball rolling.
Yeah.
It's not as complicated as it might seem inside of your mind, you know? Because that's what I have to tell myself all the time.
Yeah, the truth is that nobody cares about us.
Yeah,
They care about them. So as long as the content is beneficial to them, that's all they care about. They're not like, oh, I wonder what about, you know, what is fascinating. People like, how does this directly relate to me getting what I want?
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
Takes the pressure off. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you later. Thank you for the interview.
Of course.